Triple H is straight up lying to people. In the new WWE era, LA Knight could quit WWE due to growing frustration. There was a major loophole in the Seth Rollins vs. LA Knight title match on Raw. Uncle Howdy needs to have a serious talk with WWE before it's too late. AEW creative is under fire backstage thanks to MVP's role in the Hurt Syndicate. The WWE decided to take Roman Reigns off TV immediately. Becky Lynch's feud with Nikki Bella ripped apart. The WWE changes Cody Rhodes' title name. John Cena breaks silence on Brock Lesnar's return. New details emerge concerning Brock Lesnar's return. Let's dive right in. LA Knight could quit WWE due to growing frustration. LA Knight might be ready to walk away from WWE after the chaos on last night's Raw. The megastar came back to call out Seth Rollins for faking his injury, saying Rollins wasn't dodging the World Heavyweight Championship, but running from him. Knight challenged Rollins for the title, and though Rollins refused, General Manager Adam Pearce stepped in, chewed out Rollins and his crew, and made the match official. But things fell apart for Knight in the main event. The match ended in a disqualification when CM Punk attacked Rollins, leaving Knight empty-handed. To make matters worse, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker jumped in, beating down both Knight and Punk. Knight had already defeated Rollins at Saturday night's main event last month and was hoping for another win, but Punk's quest for revenge on Rollins, who stole the title from him at SummerSlam, ruined Knight's moment. Punk's actions might make sense for his own story, but they hurt Knight in the process. The former United States champion missed SummerSlam and was counting on Raw for a big moment, only to have it stolen. Knight's got a huge fan base right now, and people are dying to see him win a major title or get a serious push. But it doesn't seem like that's coming anytime soon. This could push Knight to quit WWE out of frustration, though there's no confirmation he's planning to leave. Outside the company, many have praised Knight's work, including wrestling veteran Dutch Mantel. On Storytime with Dutch Mantel, he pointed out that Knight's popularity is clear from his merchandise sales, even with recent losses. They WWE look at merchandise sales. This guy is number 1, this female wrestler is number 2, number 3, and so on. No longer that he's been there, he's already number 4 in merchandise sales. He was number 4 in losing matches. He lost 5 or 6 in a row. But it doesn't matter because the fans are telling the promotion, listen, we'll support this guy if you put him in something. And if you put him in something now, what's that tell WWE? Oh, if we make him more high profile, more merchandise will sell. I want to commend him in Sick doing a great job, he said. With another big match slipping through his fingers, it's unclear what Knight will do next. Will he walk away from WWE or keep fighting for a world title? Answers might come on next week's Raw. There was a major loophole in the Seth Rollins vs. LA Knight title match on Raw. Inside sources recently called out a big issue with Seth Rollins' championship match on Raw. Rollins defended his World Heavyweight Championship against LA Knight. The show kicked off with the Visionary addressing the crowd about his title win, but LA Knight interrupted, demanding a shot at the belt. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce stepped in and made the match official, adding that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker were banned from ringside. On this week's Legion of Raw podcast, inside sources pointed out that Pearce's rule didn't matter much. They argued that Reed and Breaker could still get involved, leading to a disqualification that would let Rollins keep the title anyway. The veteran source called this a creative loophole, saying it made the match feel pointless. So, they opened the show with LA Knight and Seth Rollins. Here comes Adam Pearce. We're going to have a match tonight for the title. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are barred from ringside. Okay, bro, what does that mean? That means that they can get involved in the match and Rollins can get disqualified. The stipulation should have been, if they get involved in the match, the title automatically switches hands. Right off the bat, I'm going to bed. Right off the bat, they can interfere anyway, and Rollins is just gonna retain. The match ended in a disqualification when CM Punk attacked Rollins, sparking chaos. Rollins, Breaker, and Reed then overwhelmed Punk, Knight, and even Roman Reigns, who tried to help. Before SummerSlam, Rollins had faked an injury to stay out of the title picture. But after Punk beat Gunther to win the World Heavyweight Championship, Rollins revealed he was fine, tossing his crutches and cashing in his money in the bank contract. On Unscripted, wrestling veteran Dutch Mantel suggested a different way to handle the reveal. He let the crutches go too soon. He should have went down and got in the ring and say, hey, when I am better, I am gonna challenge you. Will you accept? He'd Punk say, yeah, I'd accept. He'd Seth say, would you accept right now? He'd Punk say, you're hurt. He'd Seth say, what if I wasn't hurt? Would you accept? Mantel continued, and then he turns around and Punk says, what are you doing? Someone gets Punk to turn. What are you doing? And then take that cane. I am cashing it in. Go for it. Uncle Howdy needs to have a serious talk with WWE before it's too late. Uncle Howdy leads the Wyatt Six on SmackDown, guiding Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis, who hold the WWE Tag Team Championships. At SummerSlam, the faction pulled off a huge win in a chaotic six-pack TLC match, defending their titles against top SmackDown teams. But even with this success, Uncle Howdy needs a serious sit-down with WWE before it's too late. While he's he's the clear leader of the Wyatt Six, Howdy's made almost no progress as a solo star. He's been stuck in brawls and tag team storylines since the group joined SmackDown's tag division. Despite the excitement around his character, WWE isn't pushing him as a singles competitor, and that's a real problem. The Triple H company needs to act fast before fans lose interest in Howdy's potential as a solo act. WWE has barely booked Uncle Howdy in singles matches, which is holding him back. His last one-on-one match was on August 26, 2024, when he beat Chad Gable on Raw. That was nearly a year ago, and since then, he's only been in tag team action. Leading the Wyatt Six is a great story, but WWE needs to give Howdy a chance to shine on his own. With the right booking, he could be a major draw for the company. The Wyatt Six debut created a huge wave of excitement, and Howdy's connection to the late Bray Wyatt makes his character even more captivating. WWE had a golden opportunity to build on that hype, but they've dropped the ball. Not giving Howdy singles matches or feuds is a big mistake, and the company needs to fix it before his momentum fades. AEW Creative is under fire backstage thanks to MVP's role in the Hurt Syndicate. MVP is stirring up trouble in AEW with growing tension backstage over his influence on the Hurt Syndicate's tag team title run. Multiple sources, according to Fightful Select, say MVP has caused frustration among AEW talent in recent months due to his sway over creative decisions and the faction's direction. The issue came up during a Twitter space hosted by the Wrestling Binders J-Cup 2013, which highlighted concerns that have been simmering behind the scenes. A major sore point is MVP's reported refusal to let the Hurt Syndicate lose to certain teams, like FTR. AEW proposed FTR beating the Hurt Syndicate at All In and Forbidden Door as part of a redemption arc. There was also talk of matchups against Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay, but Ospreay's neck injury scrapped those plans. MVP, however, allegedly blocked FTR's win, saying he'd rather see the titles go to younger teams. MVP privately named Gates of Agony, the Outrunners, and Private Party as teams he'd be okay with losing to, but this only sparked more complaints. The Hurt Syndicate already beat those teams, so the suggestion rang hollow to many in the locker room. Wrestlers are also annoyed with the group's inconsistent portrayal, acting like heels but doing crowd-pleasing moves like high-fiving fans after matches. Another issue is MVP's apparent dislike for Speedball Mike Bailey. Several wrestlers confirmed MVP was vocal about not wanting the Hurt Syndicate to lose to Jet Speed, though no match was finalized. His stance rubbed people the wrong way. There's no sign that Bobby Lashley or Shelton Benjamin are caught up in the drama, and no talk of the Hurt Syndicate leaving AEW. All three are locked into multi-year contracts with plenty of time left. There were plans for a longer storyline with MJF, but it wrapped up sooner than expected, with no bad blood reported between MJF and the group. While AEW's locker room generally has a positive vibe, MVP's creative influence is causing noticeable friction. Should the Hurt Syndicate drop the title soon? The WWE decided to take Roman Reigns off TV immediately. The Raw following SummerSlam 2025 dealt with the aftermath of the biggest party of the summer, and it ended with a former Universal Champion taking a vicious beating. Roman Reigns' current status has now been revealed, and it's bad news for fans. The original Tribal Chief returned to the ring at SummerSlam, teaming with Jey Uso to defeat Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in a tag team match. But the bad blood with the Vision, led by Seth Rollins, is far from settled. On the latest Raw, Reigns went after the Vision just before the show ended. The numbers were too much for him, and he became their latest target. In the chaos after the match, Reigns was hit with a curb stomp, a spear, and 3 tsunami splashes. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, WWE used this angle to write Roman off TV for a few weeks. Well, I think that Roman's going to be out filming the movie, so, I thought that was an injury angle to take him out for a couple weeks. Brian Alvarez chimed in, suggesting the OG Bloodline leader might be gone for a bit. Could be. 3 tsunamis, he should be gone for a little while. Reigns is set to take time off after SummerSlam to film his upcoming Street Fighter movie, where he'll play the villain Akuma. Cody Rhodes is also part of the cast, but his filming schedule won't interfere much with WWE. For the OTC, it's almost certain he'll miss Clash in Paris on August 31st. Becky Lynch's feud with Nikki Bella ripped apart. WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch is gearing up for a major rivalry after her SummerSlam win. The man beat Lyra Valkyria at the biggest party of the summer, and as long as Becky holds the title, Lyra can't challenge for it. On this week's Raw, a new chapter began when Becky clashed with WWE legend Nikki Bella, but the feud was torn apart by inside sources on Sportskeeda WrestleBinge's Legion of Raw. While Becky was celebrating her victory, Nikki interrupted, sparking a confrontation. The source questioned the point of this matchup, saying the storyline feels unclear. I can't wait when they get into new feuds, and I'm just waiting to hear what the angle is. What's the angle, guys? I just want to hear the angle. So, the angle here is that Becky Lynch is a liar. I don't even know what the angle is, said inside sources. Nikki Bella recently returned to WWE but hasn't had a big moment yet. She was supposed to face Liv Morgan at Evolution 2025, but Morgan's injury scrapped those plans. This new feud with Becky promises something fresh for fans, as it's a matchup never seen before. It'll be exciting to see where this rivalry goes. The WWE changes Cody Rhodes' title name. WWE made a big change on their official website after Cody Rhodes' huge victory over John Cena on Night 2 of SummerSlam 2025. The company's top championship is now simply called the WWE Championship, dropping the undisputed label. At SummerSlam, Rhodes won a brutal street fight against Cena to reclaim the title he lost to him earlier this year at WrestleMania 41. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select pointed out on X, the WWE removed Undisputed from SmackDown's top title after Rhodes' win at the biggest party of the summer. During the SummerSlam post-show, Triple H showered praise on Rhodes for his performance and dedication. He has a lot of other things going on, but he's of the commitment level that he will do anything, and he will do what is right every single time for business. He follows the John Cena model. So for me, from a different point of view from just a fan, watching them tonight, I consider John the greatest of all time for a lot of different reasons, not just as a performer. Cody is following that model, and it's like watching the greatest of all time facing a guy who was on his way to being the greatest of all time, and that's something special. With Rhodes now holding the newly named WWE Championship, fans are curious about what's next for the American Nightmare. Meanwhile, John Cena seems headed for one final showdown with Brock Lesnar. John Cena breaks silence on Brock Lesnar return. John Cena fought one of his hardest battles at SummerSlam 2025, facing Cody Rhodes in a rematch for the WWE Championship. Despite giving it his all, Cena came up short against the American Nightmare. Things got worse when Brock Lesnar made a shocking return and attacked him, setting up a future clash. At the SummerSlam Sunday post-show, Triple H hinted that Cena, with full creative control over his retirement tour, might have asked for Lesnar's return. But in a quick chat with street journalist Adam Glynn on Adam's Apple, Cena spoke out about Lesnar's comeback, subtly challenging Triple H's story. He suggested it wasn't his idea, but rather WWE's decision to boost their shows, even as he nears the end of his career. I think SummerSlam was an indication from the audience where everybody kind of knows where we're closing our book. And just because I closed my book in December, that doesn't mean that WWE closes its books. They got to continue their programming going forward. So, they're just trying to make the most exciting shows for the fans. A dozen of them I got left. They deal them, I play them, Cena said. At the SummerSlam Sunday post-show, when asked about Lesnar's return, Triple H indirectly said Cena has control over his bookings and wanted a program with the Beast. I told John at the beginning of this, he earned the right to do all of this the way he wanted to do it, and he is. And I think that's an incredible thing. On the latest Raw, Michael Cole added that Nick Khan and Triple H personally reached out to Lesnar to bring him back. No matter who made the call, the final chapter of this epic rivalry between Cena and Lesnar, two legends from the Ruthless Aggression era, promises to be unforgettable as it plays out. New details emerge concerning Brock Lesnar's return. New information has surfaced about Brock Lesnar's shocking return to WWE at SummerSlam 2025. The Beast Incarnate made his comeback after the WWE Championship match between John Cena and Cody Rhodes on Night 2. According to Fightful Select, WWE's legal team gave the green light for Lesnar's return in recent weeks. However, this doesn't mean he's fully cleared of any wrongdoing, as Janelle Grant's legal team believes more could come to light during their case's discovery phase. The report also mentioned that in 2024, a source said Lesnar, along with Vince McMahon, was not to be featured in WWE video packages. But recently, the company's stance on Lesnar has softened. Lesnar's name being tied to Janelle Grant's lawsuit against McMahon and WWE has sparked mixed feelings about his return. He hadn't been seen since SummerSlam 2023 until this past Sunday in New Jersey. Inside sources, speaking on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw podcast, questioned why fans were so thrilled about Lesnar's comeback. They argued WWE keeps leaning on legends like Cena, The Rock, and Lesnar for easy reactions, and wondered why fans still lose it over these familiar returns. Bro, these wrestling fans have to be the lowest, stupidest, dumbest common denominator on the planet. How many times are we going to go Cena to Rock to Brock Lesnar to Undertaker back to Lesnar back to Taker? How many freaking times? And then, I'm reading the comments, holy shit. Bro, they have played this card 10 freaking times, guys. What is wrong with these people? Seriously, I don't know. Are they brain dead? What is wrong with them? Lesnar's return video exploded online, racking up a record-breaking 75 million views on social media in just 12 hours, the biggest for any SummerSlam moment. In a recent chat on My Mom's Basement with Robbie Fox, Dominic Mysterio played a rapid-fire game and was asked to name the strongest wrestler he's faced. Without hesitation, he pointed to Lesnar. Brock Lesnar. Yeah, he just did whatever he wanted, he said. Triple H is straight up lying to people in the new WWE era. Triple H has shaken things up as WWE's head of creative, but one of his recent moves has sparked some serious talk. Wrestling veteran Dutch Mantel called him out after a surprising twist at SummerSlam 2025. Seth Rollins was said to be too injured to compete, which let down a lot of fans. But it was all a trick. Rollins showed up, perfectly fine, and cashed in his Money in the Bank contract to steal the World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk on Night 1. On Unscripted, Mantel pointed out that this was a straight-up lie to throw fans off, though he admitted he didn't mind the surprise. You got to accept that since they gave up the premise of kayfabe, now they're just straight-up lying to people. And that's what they did in the beginning beginning, but it was in a nicer shape and form. I really like that, but I think that opens up CM Punk and Seth for I say at least a 3-month run, Dutch said. What Rollins does next with the title is anyone's guess, but it's sure to keep fans hooked.